Kim Jones, are you on?
Yep, sorry, you were actually on mute, and so we
Oh.
couldn't hear what you were saying. We
Okay.
weren't sure if the meeting had started or not.
Sorry about
It has. We
Okay.
we had a quorum and even without you, and we had we approved the minutes. That takes us to the monthly billing summary, and we're asking you to present.
Okay, so the payments are as follows. Payment to 100 Carlson Road LLC for rent totaling $6,457.09. Payment to Bond, Shonik and King totaling $5,459.50. Payment to CNC Miraculous Cleaning Services totaling $600. A payment to Charter Communications totaling $109.96. Payment to Frontier totaling $459.72. A payment to Occasional Elegance totaling $14,317.40. A payment to Trinity Ventures Engineering totaling $14,100. And lastly, a payment to Watts Architecture and Engineering totaling $104,149.10. And those are the payments. Any questions?
Questions or comments? Again, this material was circulated with the packet. Seeing or hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the requisition.
This is Rich. I'll move it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Raise your hand. All
Aye.
right. Thank you. It stands approved. That gets us to the information items. The first of which that we'll spend a little time on is the fund ledger, fund balance. Kim, you want to lead us through that? Kim Mitchell?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Richards. It's larger for everybody. The balance at East High School is $159,297. The balance for district-wide technology is $4,825,583. The balance at School 4 is $18,023. The balance for the settlement for the Attorney General is $330 and $330,648. The settlement for CPL is $205,421. And the settlement for Canon is $200,000 for a total of $5,738,972.
Mike Horahan, are you on the line here?
Ed, are you on?
Anybody for bond?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, I understand you have something to report with respect to Canon. We heard you briefly, but.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can now.
Hello? Okay, sorry about that. I'm in my car. We did finalize the settlement agreement. We had some back and forth on the settlement language, and Greg and I finalized that last week, and we have circulated the final releases and settlement agreement to Canon for their signature, and then it'll come back for our signature. So that has been resolved.
Good. Mike, what do we have to do to close that out? Do we need to do a change order or something to close that? Because we need to close the contract too.
Yeah, we did do a change order, and then that just needs to be finalized, and then SED, to the extent that's still open, it would have to be closed with SED.
Right. So that means we need a change order, right? Because we got to zero out that like somehow.
Yep, that's and I don't have it in front of me, but that's to my understanding what we've prepared. This change order reflecting the amount. Yep.
Okay. So that'll work its way to us in this packet.
Yes. Yep.
All right. You know, folks, we talked about this before, but the amounts of the settlement that agreed to by these parties, Canon and earlier CPL, those go back into the pot and will result in some additional monies available at the closeout here to actually reduce the debt. The difference, the amount that and we'll talk about in a minute in the open contract balances, are the amounts that we've been holding against the settlement of this, and those will now be released to Canon. So Kim, you want to go ahead then?
Sure, thank you. The RCSD loan balance for phase 3 is $1,098,752. The open contract balances, there are only two. Bond Shonik and King for $29,656.31. Canon Design for $159,296.97, totaling $188,953.28.
So in other words, that number there for Canon, once we close this out completely, that number will disappear and the money will go into the pot.
Okay.
Mhm.
The current pay requisition for this month is from the program bond funds, Bond Shonik for $5,459.50, leaving a balance on their contract of $24,196.81. Against the RCSD loan, we have Trinity Ventures Engineering LLC for $14,100. Occasional Elegance LLC, DBA Ujuzzi for $14,317.40. 100 Carlton Road for rent at $6,157.09. CNC Miraculous Cleaning, $600. Charter Communications for $109.96. Frontier Communications for $459.72, and Watts Engineering for $104,149.10, for a total of $100,193.27. That will leave fund balances of $330,648 for the RJSCB fund balance, $4,997,444 for the program bond funds, $405,421 settlement balance, totaling $5,733,513 for the total program balance, and $958,558 for the RCSD loan balance.
So what'll happen here is that the money in the settlement fund balance will be credited as part of the program bond funds and go back into the pot to pay down debt when the entire project phase 2 is closed out. The 330,000 is part of the Attorney General settlement that can be retained by the Joint School Construction Board. And then, of course, the remaining monies are being spent here as part of the Watts project to do some work with respect to preparing the comprehensive plan. And that money will be spent down as the project, as their work continues. They're fairly far along on that, actually. Any questions on the fund balance or the ledger? There's a document in the packet with respect to where we are with Watts. And we're getting closer to get some final product here. Is Mike still on the line? I know he had another thing he had to do here, so he may not be.
I'm on, Chairman Richards, but I'm in the middle of another issue, so but I.
Well, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Yeah. the progress the Watts progress, as you know, is part of the comprehensive plan. It's kind of the underlying document in the comprehensive plan that shows a review of all of the city's properties, and ultimately, when the Board of or when the decision is made by the Board of Education, the schools to be closed, the schools to be opened, and which schools will be modernized. And the specifics, including some preliminary cost estimating and some other things, are all being done by them or by consultants for them. We expect to get at least a pretty close to not a final, but pretty close to a solid draft of that, indicating that their work is essentially done, pending some decisions by the district. And that should be done this week. Because as I remember our conversations with them, they're headed for that work this week. So that's good. Now that's good. It's an essential part of what needs to be done. It was an expansion of what was required by SED, and we're working our way to getting it done. Well, they're working their way to getting it done. Okay. With respect to the approval of the project manager, we still are on schedule to get that done by the, at least the proposal presented to the school district this month at their meeting at the end of the month. It'll be reviewed preliminarily by the finance committee and then go to the full board, both in the last week of June. We haven't got a schedule yet, I don't think, Kim Jones, but we're working on getting that done in the city in July.
Yeah, so July is the plan, and essentially we need to wait until it gets approved by the board. So once it gets approved by the board and I get the resolution number, I'll add that to the ordinance. I've already written the legislation for it. So it will go in July.
Great. And we're going to do sometime in July, we'll do or whenever it suits them, we'll do a briefing of the city council.
Yeah, so I've requested a date. I haven't gotten a date from city council yet, but I have requested a date for a work session.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kim and I are working, the other Kim and I are working, there's so many Kims here, are working our way through getting a packet of material together that we can submit with this proposal. And Mike is looking at it too with respect to the district. The packet of material that we submit should be essentially the same for both parties. There's a little different involvement that they have down the line, but in terms of what they're being asked to do now, it's the same. The difference being that the district has been more involved in this, obviously, than the council has been. So there's some members of the council who may not be familiar with just the whole setup here, let alone the specific items. Okay, so that's where we are with respect to that. In the material that that you received is a letter that we received from Savin, from Pepin. And the reason I included that is we had asked the group that interviewed Savin and Gilbane during the selection process for a proposal about what we could do in terms of the interim here, how we keep this thing moving, knowing that even if it gets approved as we proposed in July and June and July, there's going to be a gap between when we get financing in place and when things get done. And also there's one of the reasons there's a gap is that some of these things that have to be done, there's an order with respect to them. You do have to do certain things in order to get the plan done, or to get the plan submitted, in order to finance and so forth and so on. So I asked Savin we asked Savin to do that. We can't contract with Savin, and I didn't mean to propose that we would prior to their getting approved. They have to be approved before we do anything. But there will still be an interim period of time. I gave you the letter, not so much because that's necessarily the deal that we would strike, but I thought it was useful for you to see, particularly on the second page of the letter, the list of things that need to get done. And who's going to do them, or who is going to need to do them. And because we're going to have to contend with that shortly here. So I figured if my morale got ruined, I ought to ruin yours as well. But, and you'll see that on the second page. But it's useful. And one of the useful things about having the Savin Gilbane team is they've been through this before. So they're able to give us kind of input on what's going to be required that, you know, we might not otherwise be able to get or be as assured of. So that's the reason that's in there. Jesse, do you want to say anything about the ICO RFP?
We had a second meeting Friday and made some small tweaks to it. Tim sent it back out, sent the draft back out to us, waiting to hear back if there's any changes. I don't think it's in. We put in proposed dates and go all the way out until September. And thinking,
Would you like me to bring that up?
yes, please. We're hoping that those dates stand. They gonna go, the proposal has got to go down to the district, to the monitor, and then to SCD. And we're hoping that the monitor will be able to walk that through and we can get it back within 3 weeks. In the back of 3 weeks, we're looking to get it back intact. We're looking to advertise it June 27th.
The one of the pressure items on us here is that the plan that's supposed to be prepared by the ICO, the Independent Compliance Officer, is part of what gets put in the comprehensive plan. So we're going to have that done before we can submit the whole comprehensive plan, which means it's not as big or as complicated as the financial plan, but it's important and it has to be compliant with the requirements. So there is a time pressure on that.
Is there anything you can add to that, John?
Well, we worked through the schedule quite a bit to figure out what was reasonable. And what's on the screen is what we came up with.
And I know you guys tried to, as much as you could, try to actually follow the statute specifically, so as to avoid any, debate.
It reads about the responsibility that we got exactly like statute. Thank you.
Okay. Questions or comments for the ICO crowd? Thank you very much, guys, for continuing to work on this. It's I know it's a little bit drudgery, but it's necessary if we're gonna keep going here. Those are all the items that were on our official agenda. I'd be happy to entertain any other items that anyone wants to bring before the group. Hearing or seeing none. We'll stand adjourned. Thank you very much, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
You.
What? And